Welcome to lesson 2, whereby to talk about the factors contributing to the spread of HIV. And in this section is aimed at introducing you to factors fueling the spread of HIV. These sections explain African traditional beliefs and practices, which may be major factors in the spread of the virus that causes AIDS. It gives some myths of sexuality and link them to the rapid spread of HIV and AIDS. The section discusses socio-economic and cultural factors contributing to HIV and AIDS. And finally, this section explains the political factors fueling the spread of HIV/AIDS. For example, the degrees of allocations of resources and commitment to implementation of policies that exist. The objective of this lesson is that by the end of this section, the student should be able to explain African traditional beliefs and practices, maybe major factors in the spread of the virus that causes AIDS. It explains also the myth and the sexuality and link them to the rapid spread of HIV and AIDS. The third point is that they discuss the socioeconomic and cultural factors fueling the HIV and AIDS. Also, another objective is to describe political factors fueling the spread of HIV and AIDS. Let's look at the factors contributing to high incidence of HIV and AIDS. The first one, we talk about the myth or mysteries surrounding the HIV and AIDS. We are going to look at its origin that is not clear. We are saying that the myth or the mystery, the history of HIV and AIDS is not clear, and that is could be the factors contributing to the high incidence of HIV. People still lack the information about HIV and AIDS. So without this information, this can also lead to the spread of the disease. Remember, the information is power, or knowledge is power. Also, this is a myth, whereby people say this is a curse from God. So people say this is a curse from God. And so long as you are there, you may, in one way or the other, be infected. Other thing, this is a witchcraft. And this can lead to the high spread of HIV. Also, we are saying they originated from monkeys. Because these are the myth. It's originated from the monkeys. Others say that it's a laboratory, a mistake. Others blame the Americans, who might have introduced HIV to African sex or controlling population. All these myths and mysteries can lead to high spread of the disease. Some myths which need to be demystified include having multiple sex partners boost men's prestige and status among their peers. This statement is not true. So it needs to be demystified as much as possible. Also, abstinence causes male sexual impotence. It is also a myth. It's not true. For a man infected with HIV and AIDS, sex with a virgin provides a cure. It is a myth. It's not true. And need this to be also demystified, because there is high chances of spreading, because people look for the virgins or have sex with in the process of maybe thinking that there will be a cure. It is a myth that needs to be demystified. Teaching young people about sex encourages them to practice it. Negotiated for safe sex. That is also, we talk about not to informed consent. It's also untrue. Ignorance about sex is a sign of innocence and purity, while too much knowledge is a sign of immorality. That is why this is also a myth, and that is why we are saying the information is power. Condoms have pores, thus it is wise to use 2 or more. This is also not true. Effective protection against HIV and STDs are pregnancy. So when you use 1 or 2 condoms at the same time, thinking that the condom has pores, so that it can prevent you from contracting this HIV or other STDs. It is a myth. It's not true. And these need to be demystified so that they can stop the spread of the HIV. Knowing your serostatus means an early death. This is also not true. It is the first step in counseling services or medical intervention, care support, and so forth. Knowing your status or a serostatus, meaning that your life will also change, so that you can either stay positively or try as much as possible to stay negative. Because once when you are positive, you will become lifetime positive. But when it is negative, it can change to positive. So you look your life in a different direction. ARVs produce cure for AIDS. ARVs help in restoring also the immune system, reducing the viral load, and prolong life. People living with HIV and AIDS need not use the condom during sex. Reinfection increases the viral load. So it is very important. If one has the viruses, it is important to use the condom, because there is that reinfection. And reinfection of HIV is also vital. Let's look at also the socioeconomic and cultural factors fueling HIV and AIDS in Africa. We have the premarital sex before marriage involve both fornication and adultery. Also talking about the age at first sexual contact. Women aged 14 to 25, majority infected. Infection in men mostly occur between 25 years to 35, while in women is just between 20 to 30 years. So these are socioeconomic or cultural factors can fuel the spread of HIV by having a premarital sex. The other one is the drug and substance abuse. Common among youths, especially in institutions of higher learning, individuals have no control over their sexual urge, go for high-risk sex. If one is using the drugs or substance abuse, there is high chances for one going for high-risk sex, or they will not be able to negotiate about sex. This also talk about this drug substance abuse. Let's talk number 4. You talk about the lower status according to the women, especially in African countries, whereby we have this inequality in making decisions, whereby the husband is supposed to be having, as he's a soul or it could be the head of the family, he is the one to make the decision. He will not welcome any suggestion, even from their wife, and this will be the reason. This also in case in access and control over assets, resources at family, community, and national level. There's also women is obliged and compelled or required to have sex even when she is aware that her partner is infected. So we have those issues surrounding these development or the spread of these diseases. The other one is the extramarital sex affairs. It involves having sex beside the matrimonial spouse. So this also can lead to the spread of HIV. There's also customs and traditions, whereby the African traditional ceremonies, like the long durations, we have the social gathering and festives. Wife inheritance and widows cleansings, especially through sexual performance. Also, all these can lead to the high or the spread of the HIV. We have the rituals that encourage sexual activities related to the season and events. For example, man has to have sex with his wife to mark various stages in farming process. For example, cultivating, harvesting, a newly constructed home. This also can lead to the spread of HIV and AIDS. You also have the cultural practices, whereby like the ear piercing, the circumcision, the female genital mutilation, the tattooing. So if these are the items, or we talk about the equipment used, if it is shared, or this cannot be used properly because it could be because of the accident, can lead to the spread of the HIV. We continue to say that this extraction, the forced marriage, we also especially use of shared and unsterilized instruments, maybe from the drug and drug abuse, or using the razor blade and so forth, can lead to the spread of HIV. The other one is the cultural taboos, attributing HIV to witchcraft or a form violating some cultural taboos. I believe that HIV and AIDS does not exist. So most of the people can believe that and say this is just only the myth. It cannot be true. And they can practice unsafe sex and in the process contracting the HIV. You also have sex for livelihood, where it means that you exchange the money with sex. Maybe due to the poverty level, maybe, this can lead also to the spread of the HIV. You also have the poverty or lack of education and income earning opportunities, whereby in poor families, many children miss out of education because they engage in these, they miss out in education because their family were not able to pay for their school fees. And remember that knowledge is power, so they will not be able to have get a good education. They marry and they start having sex much earlier in lives. Lack of education and information on HIV. Also have lack of protection, cultural and adequate information, unable to access antiretroviral therapy due to the cost of transport and buying other drugs. You have the poverty lead to the deprivations which result in poor diet, lack of clean water and medical care, and support to manage opportunistic infection. Poverty leads to separation of families. Unemployed male are forced to migrate to urban areas to search for a job, and in the process leaving the family at home. So when they can engage in a safe sex, and whereby can transmit the disease to the family. Due to the availability of jobs in urban areas, creators idleness, frustration, force many to engage in antisocial activities, lose moral, leisure and in natural sexual relations, like the homosexuals, are rampant in urban areas. You also have the long distance travel, especially truck drivers away from home for a long period of time. Have sex with the commercial sex workers in many stopover or the stopovers. Their wives are later exposed. Remember, these are long-distance travelers. As they travel from one city to another, they could be, so in terms of stopover, they could have sex in that part or go to another one. When they come home, they can, if they have contracted the HIV, they can pass that disease to their wives. You also have the tourism, having sex with the local women and men. We have to talk about the poverty. Makes men and women flock beaches to seek for money for tourism or tourists. So because of that poverty, people go to the lectures or the oceans, whereby they engage in this sex, and in the process contracting HIV from the tourism. We also have wars and conflicts. This has separated the families, encouraging promiscuous sexual behavior of the spouse, especially the men. And this can lead to the spread of HIV. Women and girls talk about loses men protection and therefore become victims of sexual harassment, rape, and other sexual exploitation. Remember that when there is no female figure in a family, that family, sometimes we talk about they lack the protection. And the girls or the women can face so many sexual harassment or even rape, and also the sexual exploitation. Women and girls are forced trafficked from sexual services, especially by we talk about especially the military camps. We also have unwillingness to establish the HIV zero status. Utilization of voluntary counseling and testing, VCT, is still low, and that could be another reason of high spread of this HIV. The other one is cohabitation. Trial marriage can be with multiple partners, enhancing spread of HIV. Cohabitation. People living together, they're trying talk about the marriage, they are cohabiting together, in the process spreading the HIV. You also have sex for expediency, a relationship for the purpose of material gain of one kind of another, and is usually with the several partners. So these are expediency relationship whereby one have the sex with an infected person because in an exchange over something. You also have sexual orientation or homosexual and lesbianism. An engagement in urban centers done in a secrecy, and this also can lead to the high spread of HIV. You also have resistance to condom use. Most of the people, we have that myth we are talking about, whereby culturally unknown. They don't know how to use the HIV or the condoms. Or if they are using, they are not even using properly. And we are talking about the new concept in sexual union among men, suggests a sign of mistrust and therefore not readily accepted. Because one can wonder and say that, why are you insisting today to use the condom? That is bringing that there's no trust or the mistrust to the other partner, and that can lead to the spread of HIV. The other one is media and pornography, or we talk about the internet and other media readiness and veil pornography films or the videos. This can lead to the people spreading of HIV because they could see that act and also try to practice the same, in the process exposing themselves to HIV and AIDS. The other one is lack of recreational facilities. This is also a problem because no space, especially in urban centers, for playgrounds. And maybe people become idle. And when they become idle, there will be high risk of people engaging to sex or unsafe sex. We also have the social stigma resulting to lack of disclosure and continue having unprotected sex because of that social stigma. Or it could be because of the polygamy, whereby is extramarital relationship culturally tolerated. So one is having more partners, and this can lead to the high spread of HIV and AIDS. Also, we have the next, or that factor is the political factor, whereby you talk about the disease allocation of resources and commitment to the implementation of policies that exist. So we have this political factor. They decreases the allocation of funds. And when there is no allocation of funds, meaning the programs that need to be run about maybe the youths, about the health education and so forth, will be no more. And when there is no more, people will not get the information. And if there is no information, there is high chances of disease spreading. You also have unsustainability, mobilization of local generated resources. Most of the well-intentioned policies which have been formulated have not been fully implemented. They could be the policies are there, but they are not fully implemented. Others could be there, but they lack sustainability. There's also a problem of corruption. The money is there, but because of the corruption, they end up not being used as planned. So that is the second assignment, whereby students required to discuss those assignments. First one, African tradition, beliefs, and practices may be a major factor in the spread of the virus that caused the HIV. Can you describe by giving the examples? The next second assignment is that explain some myths and sexuality and link them to the rapid spread of HIV and AIDS among the youths. That one is to discuss socioeconomics and cultural factors fueling the HIV and AIDS in Africa. The fourth one is how has political factors influenced the spread of HIV and AIDS in your country? So try those 4 questions. And that is the end of lesson 2. Thank you. Stay safe.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.